Hey everyone, welcome back to the party. It's the start of week 2. Incredible to see that so many of you have done the homework from week 1. Curious, if you haven't done the homework from week 1, what's the biggest challenge that was holding you back from doing the homework from week 1? Please do post it in the chat. And it'd be interesting if you have done the homework, what was the biggest challenge, like the biggest challenge that surprised you about doing the homework? We've got some editing taking ages, throat surgery. Yeah, fair play, Brandon. Makes sense. Editing takes absolutely ages. Editing takes ages. Editing takes ages. Life gets in the way. Adding B-roll. Editing takes ages. You went to hospital, Daryl. Hope everything's all right. It's so much fun. Excellent. Editing takes ages. Editing is killing myself slowly. I don't know what to talk about. You're meant to talk about your favorite thing, Theo. Editing is finding time. It's not easy talking in front of a camera. No, it's not. Scripting. Oh, okay, Lily. Fair play. Cat died. Oh, really sorry to hear that, Marcin. Editing is long, Pippa, yep. Scripting. Lighting is important. Filming take ages. Fair play. But yeah, hopefully for the people who haven't done the homework yet, if you didn't have a very good reason to do so, you'll see in the chat that no one finds it easy. It's not supposed to be easy. And so if you're finding it hard, it's all good. It's all part of the fun. If it was easy, everyone would be popular, as Haley Dunphy says. Right. Time to share a few community wins. As a reminder, we have our community win section on the PTYA community that you can type stuff into. By the way, how's my volume? Is it all right? I'm going to assume it's all right until someone tells me otherwise. This is really awesome.
Recording in progress.
Oh my God, hello. And we're recording the Zoom call now. Well, good. We've got Eddie, who has found a video editor for $50 a video. That's a pretty solid price. You probably could find someone slightly cheaper, but it does take more like effort to find someone who's a bit cheaper than that. But I think $50 per video is like a really good thing to shoot for. And if it takes like 4 to 6 hours to edit a video, I imagine most of our time is worth more than like $10 an hour. And so, you know, it's a pretty good shout to outsource editing. And we're going to be talking much more about that in week 5 of the course. Lots of you have now received your PTYA workbooks. If and when you do, please can you like send us pictures? Because we want to like put them on our Instagram and stuff. That would be cool. If you can just like email them to, or stick them on circuit. If you can email us a photo at support@elliotbell.com. If you have like especially if it's like a nice photo, we'll like tag you and tag your Instagram and give you credit when I post like a little carousel about them. That would be sick. For those who haven't got them, they are on the way. If you live in a country that has like a weird postal system, sorry, it's going to take a bit longer, but they should be on the way to everyone in theory right now. So yes, either way, the PDF is linked in the chat, so you can always use the PDF. Another thing I want to point your attention to is we have this PTYA community video vault. So we have our community that is ongoing from beyond the course. It used to be like a paid thing, and then we decided to scrap the paid component of it and make it free for all for everyone. So there's loads of guest workshops and peer workshops and like, you know, office hours, Q&As, and our monthly symposium, which we're going to continue with. All of those videos are in the PTYA community video vault, which you'll find on the PTYA community. There's a lot of content on there. Please don't waste any time during the course watching the content on there. There is literally no point. You'll get no value from it. Instead, please do the videos in the course itself. That content will always be there for you afterwards. There is no like magical secret sauce in the PTYA community vault that will magically level up your YouTube channel. You just have to put in the work. And I know I fall into this trap many times myself, where I use consuming information as a substitute for actually doing the work. So we want to not be doing that. But yes, it does include the guest workshop from last week, the one that Cora and Marshall did. That was a community event, i.e. it was open to the whole PTYA alumni, not just this cohort. And therefore that is going to be in there in one of the sections. So you can find it over there in the peer workshop section. Great. Monthly symposium we talked about. Yeah, I'll talk about this later. But yeah, in the monthly symposiums, spend some time basically talking about what's worked for mine and Elizabeth's YouTube channels and with Q&A stuff. We've got like a few of them. Please don't watch these. We can watch them later. We've got guest workshops that we've done over the last few months. Again, please don't watch these. You can always watch them later after the course is done. The course is itself an overwhelming enough thing. You don't need to watch the guest workshops, but they are all there. And our community will be continuing forevermore for as long as I'm interested in doing YouTube videos and teaching YouTube, which will be probably for a very, very long time. And you will have free access to these community events now that you are alumni, or hopefully going to become alumni of the course. So that's fun. Yeah. And yeah, great workshop by Cora and Marshall the other day on how to go viral on YouTube and change your life. That was very good indeed. As a reminder, we run power hours every single weekday at 8 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, British summertime. So you can check those out. And as a reminder, tomorrow we have my friend and business coach, Hassan, who is doing a workshop on finding your unfair advantage. He is the co-author of The Unfair Advantage, a very good book, how you already have what it takes to succeed. And it's sort of themed around finding your niche by figuring out what your unfair advantages are. And of course, all of the guest workshops will be available to watch in the video library, the video vault, usually uploaded within 24 hours after the event taking place. Other fun stuff going on this week. So workshop tomorrow, social club tomorrow, Wednesday, office hours Q&A with Jack. And Jack has exploded even more recently. I think he's on like 650k subs or something stupid like that now. Having started off the year at around, like, was it 300k, 200k, something like that. So he's grown absolutely huge this last few months, thanks to, in part, to niching down, which we'll talk more about. We have our Thursday live session, which is all about how to generate endless ideas. We have Friday social club, and we have Saturday office hour Q&A with Elizabeth. So loads and loads of stuff going on. But again, please, please, please do the homework, make the videos. Consuming content is not a substitute for making videos. And yes, it's all fun, asking questions and trying to get the secret sauce behind, like, how do I get more comfortable on camera? But you don't get more comfortable on camera unless you make 100 videos where you're forcing yourself to do the work and to put in the reps. It's all about putting in the reps. The house support system has kicked off as of today. So we had a session with Jack this morning, and I think we've got some more happening. Well, we've got all like 18 sessions happening this week. Again, you all should have gotten calendar invites. If you haven't got calendar invites, there's more information in the PTY community section. Please, 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 like, it is in your interest to attend your house support systems. I think about half of the people that attended Jack's one this morning. This is literally like a small group coaching session where you have a pro YouTuber like Jack with 600,000 subscribers who's literally there to help you out, answer any questions you have. You've got accountability, you've got the community, and you've picked times that you can make. So, I mean, I get that life gets in the way, but like, it would be, if I were taking this course, it would be really dumb for me not to attend these sessions as much as I possibly could, because in these sessions it's fine, like, I can answer your questions, but we've got 222 people here. In those sessions, you've got Jack and Elizabeth and Hannah and Nasser answering your questions, and you'll have like 15 people in a group. So definitely take advantage of the house support sessions. Yeah, on the calendar, they're called house parties. We call them house parties. We need to sort out our terminology and like refer to all of these things using exactly the same terminology. We'll keep that in mind. But yeah, basically 3 sessions today, 2 tomorrow, 4 on Wednesday, 3 on Thursday. Like, these are all the houses. You have gotten an email telling you what house you're in, and you should have got calendar invites. But even if you haven't got calendar invites, you can just make a recurring calendar event for yourself, and you can find more Zoom links and stuff on the PTY community page. We also have given everyone house badges. So, for example, Impervious is that list. Impervious has the little droplet, and so Wyatt. You know, everyone in a house has the emoji associated with their house on their circle profile, which is all kind of fun as well. There was no party at the house party. Yeah, and as a reminder, if you need to contact us, please, like, if you DM Angus or Elizabeth, it's only them who can see your DM. Whereas if you email support@aliabdal.com, then me, Angus, Elizabeth, Actor, Sarah, Nathan, all of our people who are doing support, we can all see your email. And so please, if you want a quick response, email support@aliabdal.com and use the live chat. Please avoid DMing people through Circle directly. Anyway, we're on week 2. We've done how to succeed on YouTube and the ultimate guide to gear and setup. Today we're talking about defining and refining your niche. And you can always refer to this little slide if you would like to. How do we find out which house we're in? Did we get an email? Yes, you absolutely got an email. So please, please, please check your email from the last few days and telling you what house you're in, what your timings are. And you also should have gotten like 5 calendar invites to your email, which is linked with Google Calendar, but also has a .ics link if you're using iCal. If you haven't got any of those emails, please drop an email to Angus or Elizabeth at support@aliabdal.com, and we will sort things out. Because these house support sessions are like really, really important and a really important part of the course, and we want everyone to attend their sessions if at all possible. Anyway, let's get on to the stuff, defining and refining your niche. So the first question, which we're going to go straight into a breakout room for, is what is the elevator pitch for your YouTube channel? When you tell people you're a YouTuber or you're doing this course on YouTube or whatever, and they ask the inevitable question of, oh, what do you make videos about? Or, oh, what's your YouTube channel? Or what's your YouTube channel about? What is the thing that you say to them? So this is probably for a lot of you, this is not going to be defined, but what we want you to do is go into breakout rooms and have the chat with your people in your breakout rooms. This is going to be a 10-minute breakout room, so we'll figure out probably like 2 minutes each. So if you can try and keep to time, we'll do timer warnings every 2 minutes. But yeah, head into breakout rooms and present an elevator pitch for your channel and your niche. If you don't have a channel or niche yet, make something up. Try to keep it concise but clear. We'll work on refining it during this session. And the reason we're starting with this is because it's always useful. Like all learning theory and evidence tells us, that you try something first. Even probably half of you are thinking right now, oh my God, I have no elevator pitch. But it's good that you force yourself to practice making it up on the spot, because then the refinements that we're going to apply to it will make much more sense. Whereas if we learn first and then apply later, that's less fun. It's less useful. Whereas if we try and apply and then learn and then refine, that is like so much better for all sorts of learning. Anyway, Angus, can you open our breakout rooms, please? Nice one. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Would love to hear what the thoughts were from that breakout session. What was it like? How was it like selling your elevator pitch for your channel? What did you, any insights, anything learned, anything gleaned from the situation? Work in progress, yep. Okay, finding out what everyone's struggles are. I'm not alone. To why people are wonderful. Nice. I would not buy my own speech. Good to know I'm not the only one that lacks clarity. Good session, work in progress, too generic. Bunch of introverts. Make internet a safer place. I hate pitching. Still work in progress, nice. Cool, all right. Basically, the objective of the exercise was just to give you a little bit of practice at what it's actually like to answer the question, oh, what's your YouTube channel about? Honestly, to be honest, I still struggle with this question on a daily basis. People ask me, what's your YouTube channel? And I'm like, oh God, this is my name. But then I'm like, are you gonna remember my name? Just type in Ali Abdal, ABD. Oh, fuck, shit. I wish I had a name that was easier to spell. Oh, God damn it. That goes through my mind. And they're like, oh, what do you make? I was literally on a date last night, and the girl was like, yeah, so what do you make videos about? And I was like, oh God. I was like, well, a little bit of productivity, a little bit of tech, videos about how to study for your exams. I haven't done one of those in 2 years, but it feels like, yeah. So it's always a real struggle to figure out what the elevator pitch is for the channel. But also like refining that elevator pitch for like different groups of people. Like if your mom asks you, what's your YouTube channel about? It would probably be a slightly different thing than if like, I don't know, your 5-year-old niece asks you what your YouTube channel is about, that sort of thing. Either way, this is tricky, but we're going to hopefully try and refine it a little bit over here. So this is the question. What the hell do I make videos about? And broadly, there are 2 approaches to answering this question. Approach number 1, I'm using the wrong keyboard, I'm an idiot. Approach number 1 is to be an architect. Now, an architect is like a meticulous planner. And before anyone puts brick to cement, whatever the terminology is, before you put a brick on the floor, the architect has figured out a plan and a blueprint for the whole thing. So everything gets designed up front, and only then is execution done. That is one way of finding your niche. What the hell do I make videos about? The other way of doing it is an archaeologist. Now, archaeologists, the way they work, from what I understand, is that they'll be like, all right, I reckon this site, this thing, this like area over here might be legit. And so I'm gonna dig at this site and I'm gonna keep on digging, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna find something interesting over time. An archaeologist has a cursory thing of like, right, I reckon that's the area that I want. I don't want to dig in the middle of like the Mariana Trench because I'm not gonna be able to get it because I don't have a deep sea submarine. Let's dig in that spot in this random desert because I know that there was some stuff there maybe, but I'm gonna start digging, I'm gonna do the work, and I'm hoping I'll find something over time. And most of us are in the archaeologist camp. And I would suggest most of us should be in the archaeologist camp. The architect camp of like, I'm gonna plan everything out in advance, I'm gonna know exactly what my niche is, exactly what my target audience is gonna be, exactly what I'm making videos about before I make any videos. It works for some people, but I would say it works for about 2% of people. I would hazard a guess that 98% of successful YouTubers go down the archaeologist route, and they are doing the work and digging, and their niche will emerge over time. And that's the thing that I want you guys to take away from the session, that it is totally okay for your niche to emerge slowly over time, but it does take work to actually get to that point. And the work that it takes is making the videos. You won't find a niche that emerges over time by doing loads of market research. You probably won't find a niche over time by thinking about it a lot, but you will find a niche that emerges over time by doing the work and actually making videos. But having said that, even as an archaeologist, you won't just dig up your house because you reckon hopefully there's gold underneath there. You'll have some sort of rough strategy to figure out what general ballpark you're going to be digging in. And that is what the questions and the exercises in this session are aiming to try and answer. What is the general ballpark that we're going to be digging in? So basically 3 levels of finding your niche, of finding this ballpark to dig in. Level one, who am I and what do I want? Then we have level 2, which is who is my audience and what do they want? And then 1 and 2 equals 3, haha. And level 3 is what value am I giving to my audience? And these are sort of how I would approach thinking about finding the niche. So let's start with the first one. Who am I and what do I want? So, who am I? We're now going to do a series of 2-minute exercises. So everyone, if you have a pen and paper in front of you to write stuff down, or open up Apple Notes or Notion or Roam or Evernote or Obsidian or RemNote or OneNote or GoodNotes or Notebook, whatever note-taking app you would like to use, it really does not matter in the slightest. We've got like a bunch of these 2-minute solo exercises. So over the next 2 minutes, the objective is to answer this question and list as many things as possible. This is a quantity game, not a quality game. And the winners in this exercise are the ones who are writing down as much stuff as possible, even if it doesn't sound very good. So please think like a writer rather than an editor. When you're writing, you're brain dumping everything you know. When you're editing, then you're trying to refine it. We're silencing our inner critic, we're silencing our inner editor, and we're just trying to get as much stuff onto the page as possible. And I'm gonna ask you to post in the chat your list of bullet points for each of these things. So we'll be able to see whatever other people's answers are in response to this, and we'll share the chat transcript with you after the fact, so that if you need ideas for stuff, you can always look through the chat transcript. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Oh God, I hate the magic mouse. Let's go. All right, so that was our first prompt. What am I good at? What would others say I'm good at that I might not necessarily say about myself? Please copy and paste your responses into the chat so we can have a little flick through. Music, photography, design, running, video games, interviewing people, carpenter, website builder, carpenter, marketing funnel builder. Oh, hello. Inspiring people, holding people account, coaching, motivation, leadership, reading, fiction, nonfiction, learning, listening, financial, sick. So we all have a long list of things that we're good at, or that other people will say that we're good at. This is very good. And basically, the more of these things you can have on your list, as I said, with any of these exercises, we're optimizing for quantity rather than for quality. So yeah, really, we want to try our best to put as many things onto the page as we possibly can. Good. And let's move on to the next exercise. And the next exercise is, what do I enjoy? So 2 minutes, go for it, make a list. What are all the things that you enjoy? Alrighty. So again, what do I enjoy? Let's post in the chat. Seem to have a wide-ranging list of interests over here. This is all very good. Excellent. Okay, this is really good. Let's move on to the next bit, which is, what industries, audiences, or groups am I familiar with or part of? For example, doctors, medical students, amateurs, chess players, investors, high school students, teenagers struggling with their love life, etc. Again, as many of these as possible. Excellent. Very good. We're posting stuff in the chats. So these are all the industries or groups that we are familiar with. Let's move on. This is the big daddy question. What do I wish I had known 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago that I could help people with now? And again, as many things as you can think about on that list. Let's go for it. Alrighty, good stuff. I find that this is often the question that I come back to. What do I wish I had known 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago that I could help people with now? So again, loads of really good stuff happening in the chat. This is what we'd like to see. And all of these are potential video titles, for example, for basically anyone. But yeah, let's move on. And I think this is the last one. How could I combine some of the points above to make a niche? And a niche is, I make videos about this topic for this type of people. So topic plus people equals a niche. What could your theoretical niche be? Sweet. Okay, so curious to hear what sort of ideas we've got over here. Okay, so these are all the stuff around who am I, and the point I want to make here is that generally the riches are in the niches, as our American friends would say. What does this mean? Broadly, it means that if you have a broad kind of YouTube channel, and actually this applies to business as well. If you're trying to be a business that sells everything, that is a much harder way of being successful than being a business that sells only one thing and sells it very well. Becoming the next Amazon or the next Walmart is really, really freaking hard. And if you were starting a startup and you were like, yeah, we're going to be the everything store, people would laugh you out of the door because it's pretty hard and it's basically not going to happen. Like probabilistically, your chances of becoming the everything store are minimal. If you were to start a startup and say, hey, we're trying to replace the way people do financial modeling because at the moment people are using Microsoft Excel and like opaque financial models that no one can understand. And so we were targeting specifically FP&A teams at like 100 man to 500 man companies because we know that they have this very specific need and will therefore want a specific app. That's basically the app that my brother is making. It's pretty niche, but like the riches are in the niches. If you're trying to make something to be, something for everyone, it's very hard. It's very hard to make like the next Facebook. It's very hard to make the next Netflix, the next something for everyone. It's so much easier. And there are zillions more of them that are targeting a very specific niche that you've never heard of. So Jack, one of our housemasters, makes book themed videos. And he found that his channel was like, it was doing all right, but it wasn't particularly growing. Not particularly well. And then in January, he decided, you know what, I'm going to double down on books. I'm going to just talk about books. And all of a sudden, his channel started to absolutely explode. And so 6 months ago, he had 200,000 subscribers. As of June 2021, he's on 500,000. I think he's on 600,000 now. Like, it's utterly absurd. A ridiculous growth rate from niching down towards books. Books, in fairness, is still a pretty broad niche. But Jack was trying to talk about everything: student life, a bit of productivity, a bit of books, a bit of like vlogs, a bit of lifestyle. And like the channel was doing all right. Like he had several hundred thousand subscribers. He had like a little fan base. He'd released his own product and it was going fine. But switching to just books made the growth explode. Cora, one of our students from the last cohort, was doing all right in terms of like, general finance videos. But the channel wasn't, it was ticking along. And then she decided to double down on crypto. And the channel absolutely exploded thanks to one video about Safe Moon Coin. And she's kept up that momentum by talking about crypto. Yes, you can be a general channel talking about general finance, but if you niche down to something like only crypto or only real estate or only whatever, only how to trade altcoins like day trading to, I don't know, make money or something like that, you're far more likely to get attention because there are so many fewer people in the niche down category than in the general category. So please, yeah, crypto itself is pretty huge. But like if you try and make videos about productivity, that's way too broad. It's very like you have to literally be world class to stand out in that field when there are so many other people who've been doing it for a long time with really good production value and like teams behind them to compete in that market as a productivity YouTuber. You have to, there has to be something very special about you to stand out in that market. Whereas the more niche you become, the less you have to stand out in your market by being particularly special. And it's the same in business. Like, a lot of startup and stuff talks about this where you don't want to try and compete to be the best in your category. Instead, you want to be the only one in your category. Because if you're the only person in your category, you're automatically by default the best. You're by default the go-to. So that was level 1. What do I want? We're now going to switch to level 2. What am I good at? We're now going to switch to level 2. What do I want? So what does my dream YouTube channel look like? And we'll go for 2 minutes. Let's go. Alrighty. Yeah, this is a very hard question to answer. If you can't read all this, don't worry about it. We'll have the chat transcript that you can scroll through at your own leisure if you would like to. Okay, next question. What gets me excited about growing my channel? Again, if you can be as specific about this as possible, that is good. Okay, good stuff. Again, you guys know the drill. Copy paste into the chat, share with everyone else. Loads of people are commenting on the excitement of meeting other people and meeting people who love your stuff and collaborating with others. I would say that's probably the best part. Like, I absolutely love talking to other YouTubers, and I meet other YouTubers because of the fact that I'm a YouTuber. And it's also really cool hanging out with fans. But like, so I when it's not lockdown, I do these like weekly fan meetups in Cambridge where I have this standing offer where anyone in Cambridge who wants to chat, I'll grab them a coffee, no questions asked. And so I've met, I think, about 200 people over the last 3 years doing this. Well, then lockdown put a stop to all of it. But that was like super fun. One of those was actually Joe Gannon, who has now become part of our team, helping repurpose content and is building his own agency around it. A few other people have become friends. So yeah, it's super nice. Super nice meeting other people. All right, next question. What benefits does my channel have for someone else? Does it solve a problem for them? Does it entertain them? What future does that person want? Again, all of these are questions that we're trying to answer to get at what is the niche that we want to target. So let's go. All right, good stuff. So let's move on. So we've done who am I and what do I want? The next thing we're going to talk about is who is my audience and what do they want? Now, hopefully you guys have got some clarity from the who am I and what do I want question. That's a question that even for pro YouTubers, it's worth us revisiting from time to time. Speaking for myself and most of my other YouTuber friends who I talk about this stuff with, when we're caught up in the day-to-day of running our channels and living a life and going to our jobs and kind of trying to be a nice person and having hobbies and stuff, we often don't take the time to just take a little step back and think, okay, what do I actually want from my YouTube channel? What are the things that I'm good at? What continues to get me excited about growing it? And I find that anytime I do this session, so for the last 2 times, when I think for myself, oh yeah, it always sparks like an interesting idea or like a new direction that we can take things in. So it is something that's worth revisiting, especially as a beginner, but even as someone who has been doing YouTube for a very long time. Good stuff. Right, let's talk about the target audience, i.e. who are the people that we want to be targeting with our videos. So we now have a 5-minute prompt. So I know that this is quite an intense session of making you guys do work. I apologize, it has to be done. I'm going to do this exercise as well, so we're all in this together. But yeah, write as much as you can about who your most ideal viewer is. This is the person who's going to be your biggest fan. They're going to tell all their friends about you and sing your praises from the rooftops. What's their story? What's their personality like? What do they value? How do they spend their time? So 5 minutes, let's go for it. Okay. All right, so this is kind of interesting. Let me show you what my notes were. Share this one. Yeah, 24, male, a few years into a high-paying corporate job they don't particularly enjoy. Think, damn, how does this guy do it all? It's, similar to the stuff that you guys have put in the chat. This is all very good. I will copy and paste this as well, so you can have a look if you like. This is very specific for the sorts of people I want to target. Damn, it's too long to paste into Zoom. Oh well. But yeah, in terms of questions that we're thinking about, who are they? What do they want? Why can't they get what they want? What are the stakes if they don't get what they want? What transformation would they experience if they finally got what they want? What keeps them up at night? What are they afraid of? What are they angry about? Who are they angry at? What are their top 3 daily frustrations? What do they believe about the world? So those are the sorts of questions we want to be answering when we're trying to refine our target audience. And so our next mission is a bit of a 10-minute long one where we are specifically answering all of these questions for our target audience. And if you don't know your target audience, just pick yourself, but 5 years younger or 3 years younger or 10 years younger, whichever one of those resonates with you the most. This is quite a long exercise, so a bit of a time to take a bit of a breather and get a cup of coffee if you like. Let's go for it. Okay. All right, so this is the difficult question. The very difficult question in the thing. So if you guys have written answers to this, please do paste them into the chat. If Zoom will allow you to paste that much stuff. This is very good. And yeah, basically the more specific we can get about this, the more ideas we'll get. For me, my ideal viewer, my target audience is like a 24-year-old dude. But that doesn't mean it's only 24-year-old dudes who are going to watch my channel. But if I target most of my stuff at that 24-year-old dude, in a way, weirdly, the more targeted it is at him, the more other people will also start to resonate with it, because the human condition is broadly the same for a large amount of us. So yeah, that's all good stuff. Okay, let's move on. Here are another way. So this is kind of what mine looked like in April 2020 when I did this exercise last year. Mo is a 20-year-old medical student at Imperial College London. He lives in London during his term time, but his family live in Manchester. He goes back there for the holidays. He's sort of enjoying his degree. The work's a bit tedious, but it's interesting at times. He's really enjoying the university experience. He loves chilling with his friends and chatting or playing board games until 3 a.m. several times a week. He sometimes misses the morning lectures, but always manages to catch up. He feels that going to lectures is probably a bit pointless because they're all online anyway, and he can be more efficient if he just reads stuff in a textbook or watches a YouTube video rather than listening to the boring lecturer drone on and on. Mo enjoys tech. He's got an iPhone 11 and a 13-inch MacBook Air that his parents got him for university. Whenever he's in his room, he's on his MacBook. Whenever he's out and about, he's on his phone during downtime. He's saving up to get an iPad. He'd quite like to get an Apple Watch as well, just to complete the collection. He doesn't want any of this tech to show off, but having the latest Apple gadgets makes him feel like a discerning connoisseur of tech. It helps reinforce his self-identity as a guy who appreciates form and function together. He also loves finding new apps to play with, especially if it's something that makes him feel more productive and preferably actually be more productive. He started using a calendar app properly at university and wonders how he could have lived without it. He's dabbled with a few to-do list apps, but he's never quite found a system that works without having to think about it. He loves telling his friends about new apps he's discovered. He likes to think his friends view him as the go-to tech guy for these sorts of recommendations. In his spare time, Mo spends a lot of time reading articles about self-improvement, entrepreneurship, and productivity. He doesn't read a lot of fiction, but often wonders if he's missing anything, and he watches too many hours of Netflix each week. Sometimes he and his friends will have a movie night and order takeaway. So that was what our target audience was about a year ago. We've now decided we want to switch gears and target less like a 20-year-old medical student and more like a 24-year-old kind of recent graduate. So again, if I share what it is right now, this was sort of the vibe. 24 years old, a few years into a high-paying corporate job they don't particularly enjoy. They see my stuff and think, damn, how does this guy do it all? They watch productivity tips and they find it helpful in personal finance and entrepreneurship stuff, and they get inspired to start their own business or YouTube channel or whatever. They're quite driven, probably ambitious, but they don't like the idea they'll be climbing the greasy pole of the corporate world for the promise of working even harder in the future. They love the idea of financial independence and they think they'd be able to live their best life if they weren't shackled to a job they're not really enjoying. In the evenings, they've tried to dabble with learning an instrument or learning to code and reading, but they can never seem to find time or energy to do it. Inertia of work is too high. They understand that relationships are super important, but if they're being honest with themselves, they've prioritized their career ahead of their relationships for too long, and they want to change that. That is the sort of target audience we're moving towards, but you can see like the amount of detail there is in this. And for the last year since I did this exercise, well, more than a year now, I've been thinking about Medic Mo in my mind when I've been making the videos. And often the way I think of this is that at least for me, my target audience is basically me, but a few years younger and a little bit more incompetent. That is kind of the vibe. Because if I was actually aiming videos at myself a few years younger, I've never really struggled to read, never particularly struggled with productivity. I haven't really struggled to learning how to code because I learned how to code when I was 12. That is broadly an unusual place to be. And so instead I imagine myself a few years younger, but a bit more incompetent. So maybe I tried learning how to code, but then I failed at it. Maybe I tried learning a language, but I failed at it. Maybe I tried learning how to, not learning how to read. I tried learning how to read it better. I tried reading more books and I didn't end up sort of staying with that particularly consistently. I thought about starting a YouTube channel, but it was something in my mind that kept on making me think, I don't want to do this because I'm worried about what my friends will think. What will my parents think? Will it reduce the odds of me getting married? All this sort of stuff. So basically me, but a few years younger and a bit more incompetent. And that's often a reasonable way of finding a target audience, because it means that you can feel pretty comfortable talking about, it means right now I can feel pretty comfortable making videos like how I read 100 books a year, or how I don't know, 8 habits that made me a millionaire and stuff like that. And be totally comfortable talking to that person who is a few years younger and a little bit more incompetent. So we've talked about, number one, who am I and what do I want? We've talked about who is my audience and what do they want? The next thing we're asking is, what value am I giving to my audience? And that is our value proposition. So the value proposition basically should identify what you do and why you do it. What do you make videos about? And why do you make those videos? What will the audience get from watching your videos? I think our penultimate exercise is spend the next 5 minutes brainstorming your value proposition. What's the value specifically that you want viewers to get from your channel? Why should they care about your videos? This is a hard question. What about your channel is going to keep them coming back? Try to make it short but well-defined. Think about the value you want your content to deliver to the viewer and why your target audience should care about your videos. And you have perfect license to be as arrogant and narcissistic in this context as you like. You don't get any points for humility in this exercise. You only get points for really figuring out why should anyone bother to watch your videos? Or if you don't have any videos right now, in an ideal world, why would people bother watching your videos? What is the value they're going to get from it? No one is going to watch your videos because they only care about you. They'll watch your videos because they're getting some value out of it, whether it's entertainment or informational or educational, or even they like you so much that the value they get from watching your videos is being able to live vicariously through you. But everyone is fundamentally selfish. When we do stuff, it's fundamentally goal-directed. We never do anything for no reason. So if you have a channel, if you're making videos, if you're going to take it seriously, you really need to know or figure out and work towards this dream of, I need to be able to provide value to my audience. What is that value that the audience is going to get from you? One tip for the value proposition is that in an ideal world, it would be pretty specific, because if you read your value proposition and think, this sounds like a life coach, then again, you're in the category of, I help people generally improve their lives. And that is a very difficult category to compete in. You're competing with Tony Robbins, you're competing with like legions of people who have come before you that will fulfill the stereotype of the life coach. So if you can, try specifying your value proposition so it doesn't sound like a generic life coach. It can do, that's fine. But you recognize that generic life coach is a difficult market to compete in on YouTube. I help accountants sort out their business finances so they can grow their accounting practice is a solid value proposition. I help entrepreneurs make more revenue is a bit less good. I help entrepreneurs make more revenue by diversifying their sales pipeline. Okay, now we're talking. The more generic your value proposition, the harder it will be to compete in that space. This is great. I help expats in the Netherlands successfully navigate the Dutch housing market so they can feel at home in their home away from home. That's really good. That's like solid niche. Nice one, Ash. I teach public speaking for non-native English speakers. Solid. I help people improve their lives. Again, not a great value proposition. I help newcomers to the Netherlands improve their lives by helping them get a house and learn the language. Great value proposition. So you're just being a little bit more specific about specifically how you help people improve their lives. Okay. Now I want to talk about like implicit versus explicit value proposition. So this for us has been our explicit value proposition recently. Hey guys, or hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor working in the UK, lol. And on this channel, we explore the strategies and tools that can help us live happier, more productive lives. That is a very explicit value proposition that I'm saying in my intro. But then there's an implicit value proposition. I would never say this out loud, but this is what I'm hoping people will think. This guy, Ali, looks like he's super productive. He's a full-time doctor, lol, and does all these other things on the side. And he's always so positive, and he analyzes tech really intellectually, and his recommendations for books, podcasts, apps, life lessons, etc. are really good. I think of him as a role model who I can learn from to be more productive specifically, and just live a happier life generally. And that's what I'm hoping some people will think when they watch my content. Some people inevitably are thinking, this guy's an arrogant, narcissistic twat. Why the hell would he kind of flex about, his tech products and how much money he has? And this is the worst thing ever. This is what is wrong with the world. What is wrong with influencers? What is wrong with YouTube? Oh my God. There are some people that are going to think that. But broadly, what I'm hoping that when we're thinking about the value proposition, we're thinking, an ideal viewer, a viewer that actually likes us rather than a hater off the street. What is the thing that you want them to think? And so this is the thing that I want these people to think. So yeah, finally, we're going to end with a breakout room and then we'll go into Q&A. So create and or refine your value proposition by discussing it with others in your group. You will continue to amend this over time, but it's important to identify at this stage to provide a core focus to your content and a direction for your channel, especially if you've already got a channel. Discuss your value proposition with your group and come up with a draft of your value proposition, implicit and explicit if possible. So by the end of it, in an ideal world, we want you to discuss your value proposition with the group and then come up with, I shouldn't have fizzy lemonade while doing one of these sessions. Come up with a bit of an intro spiel that you could theoretically use in your videos if you want to. You don't have to use your intro spiel in every video, but it's useful to know what your intro spiel would be. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor based in the UK, and on this channel, we explore the strategies and tools to help us live healthier, happier, more productive lives. And in this video, we're talking about bloody blah, bloody blah, blah, blah. I don't say that in a lot of the videos, but it's useful that I have that in my head because it targets my content. So we'll start the 10-minute timer. Angus, can we go into the breakout rooms, please? Good luck, everyone. Have fun. We'll see you back in 10 minutes. All right. What do you guys think of the breakout rooms? Please do post in your insights, thoughts, anything surprising, anything interesting, intriguing, anything you learned. This is such a banger. Anyway, good. Glad to hear that most people enjoyed the breakout rooms, which is awesome. So overall, level 1, who am I and what do I want? Level 2, who is my audience? What do they want? 1 + 2 = 3. And so what value am I giving to my audience? Now, at this point, you might be feeling a sense of information overload, being like, who's my target audience? How the hell do I find my target audience? What happens if I change my niche over time? I've got way too many interests. I'm interested in tech and productivity and lifestyle and interior design and fashion and music and relationships. How do I talk about all these things? What if my value proposition is bad? How do I know who my target avatar is? That is okay. The answer to what is my niche is not a question that you will ever actually be able to fully answer. But the more we think about the question, the more we sort of, it's sort of like a compass in that it roughly points us somewhere, and then we kind of start moving in that direction. And over time, we might correct course, we might change things up, but that's fine. There's a great quote that I heard which related to medicine, which is, it's a lot easier to change direction if you are moving than it is to change direction if you are stationary. And so this was the rationale for like when you're a medical student for like just choosing a specialty that you want to go for and then just going for it, but being totally content to change your mind if things change further down the line. And so when I was in my 4th year of med school, I decided I was going to be a plastic surgeon, and I started working towards that, doing the networking, doing the brown nosing CV points to become a plastic surgeon. In my 5th year, I did obstetrics and gynecology, and I was like, you know what, actually, obstetrics and gynecology is pretty sick. I want to be an OBGYN, as the Americans would say. And so I switched from plastic surgery to obstetrics and gynecology. Then in my 6th year, I was like, you know what, anesthetics is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty solid, but A&E might work as well. But I think like those changes of direction made more sense because I had already been moving. And it's sort of the same thing with the YouTube channel. Yes, you might be unhappy with your niche. You might think it's not the perfect niche, whatever, who cares? There is no such thing as the perfect niche. The perfect niche emerges for you over time. And it's so much a function of like your personality, what you vibe with, what stuff you enjoy, and also what stuff the audience you land with happens to also enjoy, happens to also vibe with. I started off YouTube thinking I was just going to make videos for med students and vlog life as a doctor. But over time, as I made videos, people started asking me that, hey, how are you so productive? How do you have time? Do you have any tips for time management? I see that you use an iPad. What does that work? Why don't you make a video about what's on your desk? Why don't you make a video about what's in your bag? When you make videos on YouTube, you can literally ask your audience. You can literally say, hey guys, honestly, I'll be honest, running out of ideas for the next few videos. If you've got any ideas, hit me up. In fact, I'm going to post that as a community post later today. It literally gives you information that your audience is literally telling you that they want to see videos about. So don't worry if you're feeling information overloaded, if you're feeling like you haven't found the perfect niche. It's not about finding the perfect niche. It's about starting and continuing to make the videos. And often this like overload can lead to this sense of like procrastination or of like, oh, but I don't want to take YouTube seriously until I found my niche. And the example they often use is like, okay, let's say someone came to you and said, I want to be a writer. I want to be a writer, but I'm not going to start writing anything until I figured out exactly what my first book is going to be about. If I haven't figured out my niche for writing, there's no point in writing even a single blog post. I've paid a large amount of money to attend a writing course, but to be honest, until I figured out the topic for my book and what niche I'm targeting with my writing that's going to become an Amazon bestseller, there's no point writing anything at all. That would be a bit dumb, right? You would look at that person and be like, bro, you want to be a writer? Friggin' write. Like, come on. What's wrong with you? If they were like, oh, but I don't know what my topic's going to be about. I don't know. You'd be like, look, just write anything. It's fine. You'll practice. And as you get better at writing, you will figure out stuff. And as you get older and as you do more of this stuff, you'll figure out what the interesting topics are for you to write about. But by sitting there and thinking about what your niche is going to be for 6 months, you're actually going to make no progress at all. I want to end with a little bit of nuance around this niche thing, because basically the official stance of every YouTube growth coach is niche down to blow up. Like every single little growth coach on YouTube will say, find your niche, establish your niche. There's a guy called Daryl Eves, who we will link in the chat. He's recently released a book, but he's like Mr. Beast's YouTube growth coach. He's like a really kind of big name guy in the world of YouTube coaching for helping YouTube channels blow up. I was at a conference in 2019 where he was giving a talk. And because I'm a legend and I'm cool with putting my hand up in class to ask questions, I put my hand up and asked him a question. I said, I'm having an issue with my niche because at the time, I think I was on a few 100,000 subscribers. And I said to him, hey, Daryl, so you talked about how niche down to blow up, but I feel I've got these two different niches. I've got like, I'm interested in the studying stuff and I'm a doctor as well. So I'm interested in the medicine stuff, but I also really like tech. Like, how do is it okay for me to target these 3 niches? And what Daryl said, he basically like cut me off. He was like, no, absolutely not. Pick the video that works and double down on that niche. Don't make videos about anything else at all. And I remember thinking, okay, fine. That's not what I'm going to do. And I spoke to so many people who came up to me afterwards because people had seen some of my channel, and like I spoke to the guys who were representing Canon and became friends with some of them, and they were like, look, the reason we like your content and the reason we'd be interested in giving you like a sponsorship with Canon is because you're so broad and because you don't really just target a niche. And they were saying that, look, ignore what Daryl said. Daryl told you just focus on the tech content because the tech content gets the views. But I don't think that's the sort of channel you want. And I was like, damn, you guys are right. Because I was feeling really bad when Daryl Eves was like, mate, if you want to grow on YouTube, you just got to make tech videos. I was like, wow, but I don't want to make tech videos. I want to make videos about productivity and lifestyle and like, books and all this shit. And it was nice to have the affirmation from these Canon guys who've been working with YouTubers and influencers for years that that's actually okay. And I became okay with the fact that it probably will hamper my growth. If I was just a tech channel, I would probably be growing faster. If I was just a productivity channel, we'd probably grow faster. If I was just a money channel, we'd probably grow faster. But I don't really care. Like, that's not the point. The point is not just to get to this, I don't know, it did like 10 million subscribers or whatever the hell it's going to be. Like, to be honest, I never thought I'd hit 10,000 subscribers. And then I hit 10K and I was like, oh, there's no way 100K is going to happen. Then I hit 100K and I was like, okay, there's no way a million's going to happen. So like, it was never the point to go as big as possible. I think we want to be thinking about like, what are your goals? Do you really care about getting big on YouTube as quickly as possible? Or do you care more about creating content you're passionate about and enjoying the journey? Not entirely a dichotomy here, and I'm kind of setting it up to be a dichotomy where it's either one or the other, but there's like, there's like a middle ground, right? So the way I think of it is there's sort of like a spectrum. I like these spectra graphics. On one end of the spectrum, my single goal is to blow up on YouTube ASAP, and I will do whatever it takes to optimize for that. And on the other end of the spectrum is, I don't really care about growing a huge channel ASAP. I'd rather take it at my own pace, make content I care about, and enjoy the journey. If you're at that end of the spectrum, you need to target a niche. It doesn't make any sense at all to not have a niche. You need to analyze your competitors. You want to aim to stand out in every possible way. You want to stack the deck as much as you possibly can with time, money, and systems. You want to hire immediately, outsource editing from day one. You want to have the best gear from day one, spend £5,000 on camera equipment, lighting, transform your house into a YouTube studio. That would be the thing that you would do to fulfill this goal of my single goal is to blow up on YouTube ASAP, and I will do whatever the hell it takes to get to that point. On the other side of the spectrum of, I don't really care about growing a huge channel, I'd rather take it at my own pace, make the content I care about and enjoy the journey, then yeah, make the content you enjoy, have fun, upgrade your gear over time, and appreciate the journey before destination, kind of ideal from the Knights Radiant of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive, a series of books. I think this was where I was in 2017. Like on over here, and this is where I am in 2021. Like, we're still very much towards it's not really about blowing up on YouTube, it's actually about having fun and like having a nice life with decent work-life balance, not working too hard unless I enjoy it. I don't really consider it work, it's kind of fun. This comes down to the niche question. Technically, you should be targeting a niche. It doesn't make any sense to be on YouTube if you don't have a niche, is what the growth coaches would say. But yeah, screw that. I kind of want to do what I want. I don't mind having no niche or having no niche in particular. And I think if you're okay with that, and you're okay that does mean you're probably going to grow slower, I think it also means you're going to have a bit more fun and you can create the sort of content that you would enjoy. So yeah, don't wait to start doing. Your niche will emerge over time. This is okay. Creating videos is the way to figure it out, not sitting around hoping for inspiration to strike out of the blue. And maybe you'll get to a point where we are with our channel where I feel like we don't really have a niche. I mean, we don't do like makeup videos or like, that's about the only thing we don't do. Reading videos, tech videos, lifestyle videos, productivity videos, how to sleep better, how to public speak better, how to make money, finance, entrepreneurship. It's all a big list of random stuff. But having said that, it is harder to grow if you're being broad. It is easier to grow if you're targeted. So generally, if you're like me and you're sort of middle of the spectrum, the intelligent way of doing this is start off by targeting a niche. If you are, in my position, I was a medical student. I had the unfair advantage was that I was a medical student at Cambridge. Therefore, the niche I could target was giving advice to people who wanted to become medical students at Cambridge. At the time, that was not particularly saturated. Now that's pretty saturated, so I probably wouldn't do that if I was in that position again. But you want to start small and then slowly expand over time. Whereas if I'd started with how I speak better, or how I am more productive, or my 10 favorite iPhone apps for productivity, and then I did a book review, and then I did this, and then I did that, it would be harder because I would really have to stand out in that general market. So I think it's totally fine to start, like, if you want to do this end of the spectrum of like, I want to create content I enjoy and enjoy the journey, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I've paid somewhere between 1,500 and 5 grand to attend a YouTuber course. I do want to do this in an evidence-based fashion. I'm not fully hobbyist, but I'm also not fully kind of YouTube growth businessman. If you're somewhere in the middle like I am, my advice would be start off with a small niche, and slowly over time you can expand that niche, or even changing things up completely. But it's better to start out narrow than it is to start out broad. So that's the vibe. We have resources in the resource vault, which will be underneath the video in the, in our PTQY community, we've got a video vault. We'll have links to all this kind of stuff. We also have a bonus premium interview with my other business coach, Sean McCabe, which is about how to identify your target audience, and he has some good exercises about that. This week's homework assignment is quick and dirty. Film and edit and publish a YouTube short by the end of the week. YouTube shorts are vertical videos less than 60 seconds long. Squeezing a video into just 60 seconds can be challenging, so take your time. We look forward to seeing what sort of short you'll produce. We suggest using a 1080 by 1920 project for this, i.e. HD but vertical. When you publish your video to YouTube, include hashtag shorts in the title or the description to signal to YouTube that it's a short. Use a 1920 by 1080 landscape thumbnail because that looks better in your feed. Please post it in the Circle channel for feedback from the course team and the community. And if you're feeling frisky and want to challenge yourself, try and make more than one short. Angus and I had a filming day, I think 2 weeks ago, where we filmed 5 shorts in a row. That's a bit excessive. And certainly if you're a beginner, don't worry about filming 5 in a row, just film 1. I think the record is we had someone in cohort 1 film 16 shorts in one day. And in cohort 2, we had Oliver who filmed like 32 or something ridiculous like that. And here are some examples of some shorts. These are some sort of pretty decent examples from the previous cohorts. Don't feel intimidated by these. Again, the objective is to, that flowchart I showed you last time. Lots of us are at the point where it's still a struggle to make one video a week. So we don't want to worry about making one good video a week. But here are some good videos that we found from last time. Whoops. Oh, magic mouse.
I'm Keely Wright and this is how to remix Billie Eilish in 60 seconds. First, we're going to set the BPM to 145 and the key to E minor. Next, we're going to write some chords. E minor, G, C and D. Layer that with some guitar power chords. And add a sub bass that follows the chord progression. Next, program a drum pattern that looks like this. And add some rises and effects to build momentum. And finally, throw a top line melody into the mix. I'm going to play it on guitar, put it all together, and you've got a remix that sounds like this. 50 flares inside those ocean eyes. Your ocean eyes. Give me those.
Okay, this is really intimidating. It's really hard to do something like that, but that is what a short might look like.
I'm Keely Wright.
Here is another example of what a short might look like. What snowboarding taught me about life. Shorts.
I have been snowboarding 3 times in my life. First time in 2013, second time in 2019, and third time is last weekend.
Yes, maximum 60 seconds. It has to be shorter than 60 seconds.
Hey, I'm not a pro snowboarder, but third time is a charm, right? This is what I learned from snowboarding that can help everyone within life, even if you're not a snowboarder. Have vision and keep looking forward. Never look down on yourself. Relax, have faith in yourself, trust your tool, and let it flow. Get out of your comfort zone, take risks, and push a bit of boundaries. Mistakes are crucial for your progression. Last but not least, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. What counts is how many times you stand up again. This is what I have learned so far from my experience, and I hope it will help you too. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.
Alright, and here's another example.
Work like a lion. Modern knowledge work has us working like a cow, grazing all day from 9 to 5. We and our bosses think that if we put in 8 hours of work, we'll get 8 hours of output. This is the biggest lie in knowledge work. On average, workers are productive about 3 hours. That's 37%. Don't work like a cow. Change that up. Think of yourself like a lion. Sprint, eat, rest, repeat. Sprint, eat, rest, repeat. You're now a knowledge athlete, not a knowledge worker. Train your mind, sprint, relax. Do it again. This is the key to a more stimulating, balanced, and enjoyable life. Good luck. See you out there.
Okay. We have loads of questions about this from the chat. So, right, what is a YouTube short? I can't show you on desktop what a YouTube short is, but it's like a thing on mobile. So if you open up the YouTube app on mobile, it's basically like YouTube's competitor to TikTok. So I'll show you what that looks. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'll show you what this looks like.
Hi, John, man. I have a question. When you played... What an idiot.
Here's an iPhone hack that will blow your mind.
All right, can you stop messaging? Okay. So it's basically like YouTube's competitor to TikTok.
The airline industry.
And shorts have to be filmed vertically. It has to be a vertical video, i.e. 9 by 16, not 16 by 9. So please make your timeline 1080 by 1920, not 1920 by 1080. So that is what shorts would look like on YouTube. The reason we're doing shorts is because it's good practice to make a vertical 60-second video to flex the skills of being a YouTuber, but also YouTube, like the algorithm is promoting shorts in like an interesting way in that a few channels we know are blowing up because of shorts. And there seems to be, it's like the early days of the App Store and like the early days of Facebook. And sort of like TikTok is today, whereby it's actually quite easy to blow up using shorts. And so a lot of YouTube growth coaches and stuff these days are saying you should definitely be at least experimenting with shorts. That's not to say that every video on your channel should become a short, because really you want to think about what is the audience that I actually want to attract. But it is useful to know how to make a short. I'll show you what some of mine look like, so you can get an idea. Oops. Let's switch to something that has YouTube Premium. How to get work done and enjoy it.
In this video, we're answering the question, how do we find the balance between discipline and enjoyment? And I think this question actually, there's this false dichotomy between discipline on the one hand and enjoyment on the other. And my life philosophy has always been that really the true driver of productivity, if that's what you care about, is actually enjoy.
Yeah, so this is just a 41-second video. We've got some shorts that are shorter than this. My new gaming PC setup. It's literally just a musical montage. We've got a kind of another desk setup, MacBook Air unboxing. So you can do whatever you want really for shorts. But yeah, basically make a 60-second video or less with anything you want. And that is a short. We'll put some there. If you want to find out more about shorts, vidIQ have a good video that explains it. YouTube Shorts, 50 things you need to know. Here we go. This is a new one. I'll put a link in the chat. So yeah, if you want to find out more about YouTube Shorts, just Google or search on YouTube, how do YouTube Shorts work? And you will find a ton of videos explaining this, how and why to make them, how to make a short, complete beginner's guide. But basically, it's like an easy way of making content on YouTube these days, which is something they're actively promoting in the algorithm. So shorts all the way. Does this count as your 1 a week video in terms of the algorithm? There's nothing special. There's nothing magical about 1 a week, but yes, producing a short does count as putting out a video. Yeah. Will iPhone work for this challenge? Yes, absolutely. Film on your iPhone. It's all good. Are we getting some instruction how to do things like slow motion or fast motion? No, but you can check out my Skillshare class for more on that. There's a free access link on the PTY community if you want to check it out. We're not talking about any kind of how to edit. That's like a how to edit thing, but that's all of that is in my Skillshare class, so you can check that out. And I heard you need to have 10,000 subs to publish shorts. Nope, anyone can publish shorts. And are there assignments or prompts for every week? Yeah, they'll be in the assignment. I'll show you. ptya.community. Here we go. Homework number 1. So yeah, homework number 1, my favorite thing. The task has been written over here. Homework number 2, hopefully it's also said, here we go. This is the brief, and you publish a thing by posting it as a new post. So if I did a homework, I would click new post, and I would embed my YouTube video there, and I would, yeah, this is where we're giving feedback to people. Cool. When do the assignments get reviewed? Within like a few days of you posting them. So like, Yeah, I think we have a few left in the blog, but like basically your assignment will get reviewed within a few days of you posting it, provided you post it in that same week. We can't guarantee a review response if you post it outside of that week, because then we have the following week to do, but we're trying our best to give feedback to everyone on every assignment they submit. How should we do this with a camera? Film in portrait or film in landscape and crop in? Good question. So film in portrait if you can. So if you can, a camera looks like this. You want to flip it vertically so that you're directly talking to the camera in vertical mode. That's like the gold standard. Silver standard is use your phone. Bronze standard is use your camera but crop in. Can we film normal video and change the aspect of it? You can. It just looks really, really weird. Like a landscape video that's been cropped into 9:16, it's like the middle third of the screen. And it just looks really odd. Often it's easier to just verticalify your camera or even just use your iPhone to film. Front-facing camera or back. Doesn't really matter. The back-facing camera is slightly better. And the back-facing camera means that you won't be tempted to look at yourself. So I would always use the back-facing camera. But if front-facing camera is much easier, then it's fine. Can we use filming for this? Of course you can. Or you can use a default camera app. Like, it doesn't really matter. If we shoot like 5 shorts, is it better to jump them in the channel at the same time? Spread them out for like 1 a day. Spread them out for like 1 a week. That's what I would do. So we filmed 5 at the same time. We're going to put them out every Friday for the next 5 weeks. How do you film shorts with your Sony camera? You turn it over on its like, it's like, when you're shooting with a camera, you can like, how do I show this? Like this. So this is how I'd shoot with a normal camera, but I can just turn it like that and shoot a video like that. And then that's like a shorts camera. So it's a bit more effort because you do have to do weird things like attaching a tripod base plate and stuff, but you can just stick it on your desk and like prop it up with a few knickknacks and you'll have like a vertical setup. But if that's too much friction, honestly, just throw the camera away and just use your phone. It's so easy filming shorts with your phone. And generally people are more forgiving of production value when it comes to shorts on the phone. And also, this is video number 2. No one cares up until you got to 152 videos. Like, am I filming vertical with my camera or am I filming vertical with my phone? Like, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is you minimize the friction as much as possible and actually do the video. But gold standard would be taking your camera and filming it in vertical. Cool. Any other questions about this? Yes, we will wrap up shortly. Can we repurpose content for week 1 for this assignment? You can. You can. You wouldn't be learning very much if you did, but yeah. But you can do what you want. Ideally, you wouldn't. Ideally. Do not physically throw a camera. Any advice for recording better audio? See the gear session yesterday. Basically, a microphone needs to be as close to your face as possible. And that is like the 80-20 of advice you need for recording better audio. Repurposing TikTok and Shorts. You can. Again, I wouldn't, because the point is to, like, this is a course where we're learning how to be YouTubers. Hacking it by repurposing a TikTok you've already made into a short. Yeah, it ticks the box of the upload, but it doesn't actually help you learn how to create a short for YouTube. So I wouldn't recommend it personally, but obviously that is better than nothing. Basically anything is better than nothing, but like putting effort is better than not putting effort, broadly. Oh, in the future. Oh yeah, absolutely. We will repurpose stuff all the time. Repurposing is great. We're talking a lot more about repurposing in week 5. Cool. And I think these are all the questions specifically about this. Right, we've gone on for quite a long time. I mean, audio and recording on iPhone. I wouldn't bother. Honestly, iPhone microphones are pretty good. If I were recording a shot on my iPhone, I would literally just turn on the camera and like speak to it. So I'll be like, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about 10 productivity tips in under 60 seconds. Let's go. Tip number 1, the 2-minute rule. Blah, 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 in under 2 minutes. Tip number 2, time blocking. Blah, 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 blah. Like this sort of janky production value actually works pretty well for shorts, so you don't need to overthink it. It doesn't need to be a masterclass style, like super production value shorts. In a way, I've heard people say that shorts are better when they're a little bit less produced than like a main channel video. Are you able to provide guidance on the settings for Filmic Pro? Yes, I have a YouTube video about this. But also it doesn't matter, just use the default camera app. I don't use Filmic Pro. I film vlogs on my iPhone and I literally just use the default camera app. You don't need to use Filmic Pro. It does not move the needle in terms of production value, so don't bother. For your shorts, do you use your pro camera? I use my pro camera because it's easy, but I could use the iPhone and it would do just as well. Front or back camera, doesn't really matter. Often I use the front, sometimes I use the back. Back would be better because it's a bit better and you aren't tempted to look at your face. But often people find it a bit weird speaking to the back camera of a phone, whereas we find it more normal to look in selfie mode at ourselves. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. The only objective is to get this video out, and phone versus camera is not a decision that will move the needle for that video performance. The thing that moves the needle for video performance is a good title and engaging content. No one cares when it comes to shorts what your production value is like. So I won't bother with that. I use the iPhone 11, but you can use whatever phone you have. Great. All right. Good stuff. Any more questions about this? Stick them in the questions and answer section on the community. This has been a long session. Thanks for bearing with me on all this sort of stuff. I hope you guys have gotten value out of the session, and good luck with the homework. Please do attend the house party sessions, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.